Hello and welcome back, everybody. We have another session today in the Science is the New Religion script, session 17, Babylon, part 4. And today is a beautiful Sunday, July 4th, 2021. And in here in the United States, we observe this as a what I discovered as a Counter-Reformation Day celebration. And instead of celebrating with the flock here, I'm going to be hunkered down and doing a session with Michael and possibly even leaving the property here to get away from all the noise. Last night they were bombarding the area here with the fireworks, and yeah, I'm just not into it, Michael. It's actually very sickening to me, but that's how it works. I guess as we get older, we just get really tired of it. You know, when you're young, you think, "Oh yeah, this is fun. Oh yeah, great." Well, when you get older, it's not so great. It's noisy and obnoxious and very what can we say? Childish. Foolish, you know, you get the drift. So, Michael, welcome. Thank you for joining me today, all the way from Europe.
Yeah, hello, Brad. Hello, dear listeners. Thank you so much, Brad, for spending the time with me, actually, because you see that I'm not used to have the comfort that Brad has got so much time on his hands to do the sessions with me so that we can put it out very soon. At the moment, I have just waited to publish it because I got a strike on my channel, but soon we will publish them in full esteem. Last time, or the last 3 times actually, we were into the religion of Babylon, and we have learned extensively that religion and science was mingled in the ancient times, and actually they are also today, because you cannot prove many things, so you have simply to believe them. Last time we were speaking about 666, meaning the number of the beast. Everybody actually who is following the channel of Brett is aware of the fact that in Revelation, the last verse in chapter 13, it's been said that here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. So the beast means the Antichrist system, a system, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now, if we go back to the old times, and if we assume, or we have to assume, we may assume that in the view of the Protestants, of Martin Luther and all the other men and women in the Protestant denominations, they knew that the Pope was the Antichrist and he was bearing the number 666, because 666 is the resolution when you go into Roman numerals of Vicarius Filii Dei, of the Antichrist, so in the position of Christ on earth, which he claims that results in 666 or 666 as we would call it today. And I remembered about old astrology, when astrology, astronomy, and mathematics were the branches that were being mingled together in the religion and science community in Babylon. In Babylon, there was Nimrod, and Nimrod is the god-man and also the sun god. As it was in Egypt, the equivalent would be Ra, which was the Egypt sun god, or the Egyptian sun god. Imagine that in Babylon, Nimrod was the sun god, and in Egypt, Ra was the sun god. So both times when the Israelites were in captivity, they were experienced the fact that the population in their respected countries, they were worshipping a sun god. So they were worshipping the sun as a planet, and also a human form in the form of Nimrod. In old times, it was Nimrod way, way, way before the Israelites got in captivity in Babylonia. They worshipped also not the sun god, but also Isis as the queen of heaven, and as the equivalent or the mother of it, and the wife of the sun god must be the moon goddess. Yeah. And so you have the pagan trinity of father, mother, son. If you would like to say it, Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz, or here Isis and Osiris or Ra, and then the eye of Horus, which is Horus, gives us the same root of etymology as the hour. Yeah, for example. So everything is connected to these old pagan belief systems of sun, moon, and child, or sun god, moon goddess, and their respective son. So this is not Jesus Christ here. Yeah, this is Horus. Yeah, it is not stated here, but the Egyptian Trinity is the child of the Egyptian Trinity is Horus. So if you come across a church which is depicting father, mother, and son, or mother with son, it does not necessarily mean Maria and Jesus Christ. Mary and Jesus Christ does not necessarily mean. The people assume that, but you see that assumption does not mean necessarily the truth. Okay? So when we're worshipping the planets as gods, or any man as a messenger of the gods, the god, man, and sun god in the same time, Nimrod, in old Babel, it means that also they see the stars as deities, especially in Egypt, when they saw or they looked to the skies. That's why the ancient pyramids in Egypt, they were actually placed alongside the fixed star, so that it is a reminiscence of Osiris, which is the star sign or the fixed star of Sirius. So it has much to do with astronomy if you go into these pagan religious cults, and which is affecting us today. Yeah. So everything which happens on the sky, as above, so below, is being seen as a message from the gods, plural, to mankind. Yeah, because they believe in a numerous amount sometimes of gods. When you look upon the Indian religion, for example, Hinduism. Yeah. And so they see the zodiac as a circle around the earth with all the so-called zodiac signs. Yeah, zodiac comes from Cyclos, circle. I got into that last time. And it's in old Persian, it means alive, something which is living. In Greek, bios means life. And and all these so-called signs in that zodiac around the earth, the so-called zodiac, which is not visible, of course, it's just another mystic. You got Cancer, for example, the sign of Cancer, Scorpio, etc. And we talked about the deciles, and we are getting together with the deciles once again very soon. But let us think about one thing. There is an authority which is called, or which was called, the Pontifex Maximus, the greatest bridge builder. The bridge builder means the greatest bridge builder between heaven and earth. That's this purpose. Interesting enough, I found a website which spoke that, for example, Europe has hundreds of medieval devil bridges. For example, here France alone has 49 devil's bridges according to that very website, pubastrology.com. Point du diable. Diable means devil. Yeah, for example, don't buy a Lamborghini Diablo. This car is too fast, it's too unsafe, and it means actually Lamborghini devil. But nevertheless, you see, you have many, many, many so-called devil bridges. One interesting bridge you got, it just comes into my memory. You got when in the opening ceremony of in Switzerland, where all the governments, chiefs, were gathered together in a ceremony of the tunnel. Yeah, Gotthard Base opening ceremony. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I think I remember seeing this. What year
yeah,
was that? No.
yeah, yeah. And so also this relates to a so-called Devil's Bridge, where the
Mm-hmm.
inhabitants of one local town, they made a pact with the devil. Yeah,
Oh,
it's interesting, and that's why they also got away with that ceremony. Yeah? They say, "Oh no, it's an old myth."
right. Of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
Okay.
Well,
So
then why do you need to celebrate an old myth?
yeah,
Right?
people stuck with it. You see,
Isn't it
and it's
just
interesting
nuts?
also if you got a half circle here, and that becomes a complete circle. Yeah, as above, so below. That's why. That's also the reason, in my understanding, in my knowledge, according to my science, which because science means knowledge. What the Washington Monument, why the Washington Monument has been built that way.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, yeah, that's right. And they call it the reflecting pool.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. If you put
Correct. It is.
Washington
Yeah,
Monument reflecting pool, yeah, there you
yeah,
go.
yeah. As above, so below. Yeah, and
Well, you
actually,
can
this
see
is.
the full obelisk in some pictures. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Just got to get the angle right.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so then let's get back to business.
That's right.
Um, so you know that this Pontifex Maximus is later called the Vicarius Filii Dei. Actually, Nimrod himself, he was also seen as a god. And if you remember correctly, then the beginning of the Pontifex Maximus was with Julius Caesar, where we have the month of July. At the moment, we have the 4th of July, which is the month of Julius Caesar. And he was at around 48 before Christ. He was the first Pontifex Maximus, or in shorter terms, PM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's where the month July has been derived from. So everything here is a religion because it's the sun in the center, and then it's the moon, it's Venus, it's Saturn, it's Mercury, Jupiter, and Mars, etc., etc. And they are the so-called rulers of certain signs of the zodiac. And once again, the zodiac, I just like to explain because I think that people are not familiar with it. The zodiac is an imaginative circle around the Earth. I don't like it when that happens, that it is not clear. Aha, now I think that's better for the explanation. Yeah. So you see that they are gathered together. I think that is a very good picture that you see it. It is a imaginative, as you have to think that it circles around the Earth like the equator. Okay. These are the 12 signs which are dividing the 360 degrees of the circle in two equal areas. I hope that's understandable what I said. So, and the Pope here is pushing out that monstrance, which is a sun circle here, which with a cross on top. Okay, so it's a sun circle. It's everything is related to that old religion. If the Bible is right, and the people in scarlet and purple are serving the mother church in Babylon. So in Babylon you had the sun god. So then it is a sun disk. Same goes also for the so-called halo. Same goes also for the candles. Okay, so this is a religion because it has been named for ancient gods and goddesses. Yeah, so ancient gods, goddess Venus, god Mercury, god Mars, god Jupiter, god Saturn, god Neptune, god Uranus, god Pluto. Okay? This is a Roman system. You are educated in a Roman educational system. Yeah? He doesn't have any other name. This is not planet Brad Pitt. Yeah? This is not planet Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
This is not
that's
planet
right.
Schwarzenegger, or this is not planet I don't know, Mother Teresa. Yeah? So this is all the ancient, these names are familiar for thousands of years and it have not changed. Yeah? So the Pontifex Maximus was the chief or high priest in Roman society, which means that he was like the Emperor Julius Caesar, he was the first man. He was man and God at the same time. And so he was seen as the wisest guy, and he was seen as a god to be deified, to be worshipped. He was elected by the priests themselves, so it is not been from heavenly, due to heavenly order, but he was elected among the priests themselves. Interesting, huh? Julius Caesar actively sought and won the office early in his career. Yeah. And what has that to do with all the things concerning astrology? Well, we are speaking of the sun god. Yeah. And we have spoken about that forged testament of Solomon with all the demons. And also in that testament, it has been said that the demons listed in order of appearance are several demons and 36 spirits of the deacons. 36, interesting, huh? It would be the same amount if you divide 360-degree circle by 10 degrees of a deacon, which comes to 36 sectors. So you see, it's just around this A which makes the difference. So you have a deacon, a servant of or a minister of the priest, and you have a deacon without an A, which is a spirit according to the testament of Solomon in the occult. And you see that in the occult, we have shown it last time with the circle, with the magic circle of Dracula, also consists of astrological signs. You can, if you don't have to believe me, you just look it out on your own. You see that magic circle, and then zodiac sign. It just comes out of memory. You see here, you got amulets, something like that. And maybe it is also here in Dracula, I don't know. No, it isn't. So we leave it out, magic circle. Protection symbols, it's all bullshit, actually.
Geez.
You see here magic circle, you see Pisces, you see Taurus, you see Leo. You see it everywhere. You see it even in films. Lucifer Rising, for example. You see all the symbols.
This is exactly what happens to our youth, Michael. They get drawn in by these pretty designs, and they think they're all innocent and good, and they're just mocking, and it's fun. It's fun to mock. See?
Sure. You got it also in tarot. You got these astrology symbols also in tarot. Tarot cards. You have it everywhere. You got it.
It, man.
You got it everywhere. You can look up for yourself. Astrological tarot, mandala, astrological tarot, etc., etc. It's almost everywhere. It's everywhere. Tarot card reading of the zodiac. You see sun is centered and all the signs are around it. Tarot card reading of all zodiacs. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so you don't have to believe me. You can check it out for yourself. And so I told you last time that James Arabito, in one of his interesting YouTube videos, claimed that he found out that the 36 deacons actually were seen as deities. And if you add up the numbers 1 to 36 for all the 36 deacons, you end up with 666. Okay? Here you got all the deacons, 0 to 10 degrees, 10 to 20, 20 to 30 degrees of each sign. So, and then you turn up with 3 times 12, which makes, of course, 36. And then 36 results in 666. In Chaldea was a country that existed between the late 10th or early 9th and mid 6th centuries before Christ, not common era, after which the country and its people were absorbed and assimilated into Babylonia. Semitic speaking, it was located in the marshy land of the far southeastern corner of Mesopotamia and briefly came to rule Babylon. The Hebrew Bible uses the term Kasdim, and it is translated as Chaldeans in the Greek Old Testament. And although there is some dispute as to whether Kasdim in fact means Chaldean or refers to the South Mesopotamian Caldo. We spoke about that last time. I won't repeat myself. It has been translated by the translators of the King James Bible as Chaldeans, and Chaldeans also means astrologer. Yeah, so that's where they all came from. What was the time period? The ninth.
Chaldeans means astrologer?
Yeah, we spoke about that last time.
Yeah, that's right. Well, sometimes it takes a little while. And by the way, Michael, you are entirely correct. When you add 1 through 36, you get 666 when you arrive at 37 there, as you show in the diagram.
Yeah, I know.
And I just wanted to remind everyone that that is entirely true. And as we read in the beginning of this session today, that, this is the number of a man. It's the man of sin. And
sure,
of course, you don't get that information when you don't study the Bible, do you, Michael?
Sure, but you see that if it's the mother of harlots, if it is Babylon, so it's the abominable church, it's the apostate church. And so it has been turned over from Babylon to Rome. And in Babylon also they were seeing the 36 deacons, which adds up also to 666. And that is related to the zodiac, which is for the planets, for a pagan religion system as a sun-centered system, because in Babylon they worship the sun god. And that's, my humble opinion, is the reason why 666 is both for the Roman Pontifex Maximus, or in better terms, Vicarius Filii Dei, as it was in former times for the ruler of the zodiac, which means the sun god itself. That's my explanation. You see, I have not studied that. I have not studied Hebrew or something like that I could come up with certain things, but it's not my explanation. It's the explanation of James Arabito, and I highly think of James Arabito. Not that I find it sorry that he was in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, but he made several very interesting and very profound videos, I can tell you, especially of the old ancient tales and myths, and I can only recommend you James Arabito. That's one of my most cited persons that I ever found in that explanation of things. Okay.
Well, Michael, if you do have that video, maybe you can point that out and we can upload that on the channel too, just to support and, for further information.
It is.
If you think that's necessary. Otherwise,
it was very long ago, but I know it has been on YouTube. It was the year Babylon is Falling. There are seven sessions about it.
Okay,
yeah, it's not very good quality, but you see that it does not.
It's good enough.
Depend on the quality. It depends on the content.
Yes, correct. Gnostic views. Okay, very interesting. I will have to watch this.
No. You don't have to watch this, but you see that I know that I got the picture somewhere, which I told you yesterday, but I cannot recall where it was. Yeah, but it is not good quality, and you have to listen very carefully to him. But you see that it is very interesting to follow him, and I also doubt that he was dying a natural death, because I think that he died in a plane crash.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of people die in plane crashes.
Yes.
We talked with Daryl Eberhard about that, and he's very, very critical of this kind of thing. And he actually told me about a book that an author wrote about this very what can we say, strategy that the enemy can use to get rid of his opponents. And we've seen it happen over and over and over again. We don't need to go into that, but yeah.
You see, one of the videos could be the cause of that. Yeah, you see the Jesuit Web.
Yes.
I don't know if it
Okay.
was his original title or it has been modified thereafter. I don't know, but you see, you have really to concentrate on what he's saying because he makes the statements so fast. He's quite the opposite of me. I need several attempts to explain something, but nevertheless, it is very interesting what he's pointing out. Yeah, so I can recommend listen to him. I don't recommend the Seventh-day Adventist Church as an apostate church, of course. But it is my humble opinion, it is worth listening to him. Okay, so then
Yeah,
I
that's
leave it like
correct.
that at the moment.
It's interesting to bring this up because, all of us that study and have an interest in doing research have our reasons for doing it. And often, others will criticize you for your reasons, but don't let that get to you. It's just everyone has a purpose, Michael. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, you see that in the Bible, Genesis 22, for example. I thought it was in Genesis 22. Really? I thought it was in 18 also. Yeah, is okay. So come on. Oh, I got some issues with the computer once again. I don't know what he's doing. He's circulating. Yeah, last time we spoke about the fact that Chaldeans means astrologer, but my eSword is giving me a hard time since 14 days. Don't know why, but it is not working properly. Now it's working again. So then I have to look it up. Chaldeans Strong's Concordance. I'm not being fooled by eSword. So Strong's Concordance says Chaldeans. Doesn't say that. I know that Genesis 11:28. Aha, that was the source yesterday. I know 11:28. 11:28. That was the source. Yeah, Chaldees. So let's see. Implication in the middle of the text, it speaks of implication, the Chaldean, as if so descended, also an astrologer.
Wow,
Okay.
that's a find.
Yeah.
That's a find.
Okay, so then we know they were deep into astrology, and in the beginning of my astrological exercises, I was told that it comes down original from the Chaldeans. Okay. So that means also early 9th to mid 6th century before Christ. That was around the time when the Israelites were in captivity. Mid 6th century is 550 something, if I remember correctly, Brett. 6th century means 501 to 599, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was at the time when they were ruling there in Babylon, when the Israelites were in captivity, around that time. So astrology would be something what the Israelites have been confronted with. Okay. Unlike the East Semitic Akkadian-speaking Akkadians, Assyrians and Babylonians, whose ancestors has been established in Mesopotamia since at least the 30th century before Christ, the Chaldeans were not a native Mesopotamian people, but were late 10th or 9th century BC West Semitic, Levantine migrants, etc., etc. You see, all this is interwoven here. Yeah. In the Hebrew Bible, the prophet Abraham is stated to have originally come out from Ur of the Chaldees. Yeah, that is where you find Hebrew and Chaldees. Yeah, you see, you find it everywhere that the Chaldees played an important role. As in the area of the birthplace of Abraham. And yeah, that's so much for the 666. So 666 had also something to do with zodiac, and the zodiac encircles the earth, and they saw the major deity in Babylon as the sun god, and so there you have it. There you have also the connection to the Vicarius Filii Dei with 666. So much so. In Daniel chapter 1, also knowledge is been said. So it is understanding science in the first verse of the Bible. Children in whom was no blemish, but understanding science and such as had ability in their tongue of the Chaldeans. Science has been derived here from Hebrews 4093, from Mada, which means intelligence or consciousness, knowledge, science, thought. Once again, we see that knowledge is equal seen as science. Okay? We cannot go into the book of Daniel for obvious reasons, because it would take several sessions and it is very hard for me to explain everything in English then. But just to let you know that also in the book of Daniel, in the first chapter, it's been said about that children who was no blemish but understanding science, such as ability in their tongue of the Chaldeans. So there were also people with ability, yeah, with real knowledge, not with pagan knowledge, but with real knowledge. So in Daniel, in the Old Testament, you find the word Mada in Hebrew as knowledge and science. And in the Second Chronicles 1:8 to 1:12, the Lord God spoke to Solomon why he had given knowledge, or if you like to say so, science, to Solomon. I would like to ask Brett to read that chapter 8 and verse 8-12, please.
Sure, I will do that. So we have okay, which book is this again? I'm sorry.
Second Chronicles.
Second Chronicles. Thank you. Sometimes I don't follow because CH.
I don't know if it is if the abbreviation is correct, but
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's
Chronicles
fine.
was a CH. I don't know.
It's fine. Sometimes people use 2 letters, 3 letters. It's confusing to me, but you know, it is. That's correct. So, Second Chronicles, chapter 1, verses 8 through 11. And Solomon said unto God, Thou hast shown great mercy unto David my father, and hast made me to reign in his stead. Now, O Lord God, let thy promise unto David my father be established. For thou hast made me king over a people, like the dust of the earth in multitude. Give me now wisdom and knowledge, that I may go out and come in before this people. For who can judge this thy people that is so great? And God said to Solomon, Because this was in thine heart, and thou hast not asked riches, wealth, or honor, nor the life of thine enemies, neither yet hast asked for long life, or asked long life, but hast asked wisdom and knowledge for thyself, that thou mayest judge my people, over whom I have made thee king. Wisdom and knowledge is granted unto thee. I will give thee riches and wealth and honor, such as none of the kings have had that have been before thee, neither shall there any after thee have the like.
Yeah, and that means that he has been granted wisdom, yeah, for thyself, yeah, that thou mayest judge my people over whom I have made thee king. So he became it, yeah, because he did not ask for riches, wealth, or honor. So he was being granted wisdom to do God's work, actually, to rule over the people yeah, as the vicarius of God, actually. It's my understanding. Yeah. So real wisdom can only be given from God. We know that the fear of the God is the beginning of all wisdom. And in Timothy, in the New Testament, we find that there is science falsely so called. and it was written from Laodicea. Oh, Laodicea in the Bible. Can you remember, Brett, what they
Yes.
taught about Laodicea? Wasn't that where the lukewarms were?
That very well could be.
Yeah.
Well, as there's also a council of Laodicea that we've talked about in the later years after Caesar.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that has nothing to do with that. It's the region of Laodicea, correct? And the Bible's speaking of course, written from Laodicea, which is the chief city of Phrygia.
Yeah. I just looked it up on my second computer. It's Revelation 3:16. So, and unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans write, these things saith the Amen, the faithful and the true witness, the beginning of the creation of God. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot, etc., etc. So it was Laodicea.
Lukewarm.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
So 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20 and 21. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called, which some professing have erred concerning the faith. Grace be with thee. Amen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this was written from Laodicea, from the city that the revelation of Jesus Christ spoke to John, was been said to that God knows the works of the Laodiceans, that they are neither cold nor hot. Isn't that interesting? And that in the same context, Paul wrote to Timothy about science falsely so called. Mm-hmm. Interesting. And then it was absolutely correct, Brett. The Council of Laodicea. I think we have to scratch our head at the moment. So many coincidences.
Yes.
Many coincidences, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. I wonder if we had a map of Laodicea, that would be interesting to see that. But anyway, we don't need to branch too far off the subject.
Yeah, it's Asia Minor, so it must be somewhere in Turkey or something.
Okay,
yeah?
Right. That's correct. Yeah, I'm sure you're right about that.
Yeah, so Laodicea, we can look it up in the map. Yeah. Laodicea in Phrygia.
Yeah, it's familiar. I did a seventh vial study on that one topic.
So it is. Yeah, you see in Turkey. I was right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
it is in the western Turkey nowadays.
Yeah, speaking of the first century church, I did something on that some months ago about this phrase, a term that I hadn't come across, and it was very interesting. I can't recall the exact term right now. Forgive me. It's morning over here. My brain doesn't always work in the morning. But Laodicea, very important.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, there is a science from God and there is a science from man. A science from man in Greek is gnosis, which means...
we know this one. Yeah.
We know this one. And this is the science what actually Paul is speaking about to Timothy, writing from Laodicea.
Nasty.
Yeah. And that people don't know what gnosis is. Yeah, Gnosticism, gnosis. Yeah, the common Greek noun for knowledge. The term is used in various Hellenistic regions and philosophies. It is best known for Gnosticism, where it signifies a spiritual knowledge or insight into humans' real nature as divine.
Humanity pops up again.
Yes, and ye shall be as gods, etc., etc. So it is a pagan system based on science, so-called.
Yeah,
because it is based on so-called human, earthly existence. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the God of the Bible.
Yeah, right. So this stems out to the Valentinian schools that I was researching early on, and all of that. So
yeah, and nowadays it means it is the Greek version of the noun which means knowledge or awareness. I know of many awareness trainers at the moment. Yeah, so it's also a new trend. Also new trend in psychology. Yeah, but interesting. A
The
feminine
trend
Greek.
is not my friend, Michael.
Wasn't it a female who fell for the so-called wisdom of the snake when she said that a tree to be
Yeah, but
wise?
the male followed suit.
Yeah, sure,
So what
sure.
good is that?
Absolute,
They
absolute.
both fell
Yeah.
together.
I found a German text, which you will have your difficulties to follow, about the origin and development of astrology. This is a work of the Roman Catholic region from Professor Magister Dr. Robert Kemper, The Origin of Astrology in Babylon, about 3,000 years ago. Mesopotamia was the center, yeah, was one of the first cultural centers, and there are certain periods, yeah, unless 650 before Christ, and then there was a new Babylonian and Persian period from 650 before Christ until 350 before Christ, where they had made very much progress in astrology as well as in astronomy. Yeah, you see that this is not only Wikipedia. I'm looking at several quotes on several books and several articles, and yeah, that's it. You see that here Thomas von Aquin, Albertus Magnus. Yeah, also in the Middle Ages, people were beginning to draw their attention back to astrology. Yeah. And it has been mentioned as well in that context. Egypt and Babylonia is mentioned as well in the Second Kings. Yeah, you see here, and the king of Egypt came not again one more of his land, for the king of Babylon had taken from the river of Egypt to the river Euphrates all that pertained to the king of Egypt. Yeah. So we're speaking about that Babylon has was major influenced by astronomy and astrology that time. Okay. So what does that mean? Astronomy means actually the study, occult study, hidden study of heavenly bodies. What are heavenly bodies? Usually people would say, yeah, planet and stars. But as planet has been seen as gods and stars are also being described as angels in the Revelation, I think that heavenly bodies, Brad, has a different meaning now.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, good point, Michael.
Yeah, many people overlook that.
Good point.
Yeah, you see that superficially people have been talking, yeah, this is a planet and this is a star, but they don't know the meaning of the stars actually in heaven in the Revelation 12, Revelation
Yes.
chapter 12.
Also Psalms 9, chapter 12.
Yeah, let me go into that. Psalms 9, because I don't know that from memory.
Oh, it was 11. It's either 11 or 12.
Psalms 9:11.
9. Yes, correct.
Yeah, 9:11. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or 12. I forget which one it is. No. Oh, I was wrong. It's here though. Hold on. Thought it was. Oh, I got that. Okay, no, that's the Inquisition verse. I'm sorry. Which one is it that sing praises unto the Lord? And the heavens.
I know it is 19, for example. I know 19 very well.
Oh, maybe that's 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament sheweth his handiwork.
Yeah, there. Thank you. It's 19.
Okay.
It's
yeah, that's a famous.
So another 9/11. Yes, but in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You know that guy?
Yeah, we know they put it on his tombstone.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
But why does that matter? You know, he was he a Bible believer? I don't think so.
I don't know, but you see that the tombstone itself gives glory to God. Yeah, and not to man. Now that's my point. So that's also the connection true. why I always remember that psalm, you see.
Yes, I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's important to know that it's God's glory. He made it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now in comparison, the explanation of the etymology origin of the word astrology, it's not the science of heavenly bodies as astronomy is, but the calculation, speaking of math, and foretelling, speaking of prophecy, based on observation of heavenly bodies, speaking of stars and planets. Yay, 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 yay. You see how that is very completely combined science and religion. Yeah. If astrology and astronomy is science, has to do with the heaven. Yeah. It's an occult study. So it has a hidden meaning. Everything has a hidden meaning. It's not the things that the people are telling you.
Well, astronomy, yes, but astrology I didn't know was directly related as such.
In the old times, originally identical with astronomy and including scientific observation and description.
Gracious.
Original, yes.
Ay, ay, ay.
Because it does not make sense to make just calculations. Oh, this is moving that fast and this is moving that fast. But people think that, oh, that must have some meaning.
Uh-huh.
So what is the meaning of all? Yeah. And you see that they draw the attention to pagan gods and goddesses in the case of Venus, for example, and stars and earthly rulers. And that's why Isaiah 47:13 is very important to understand. Please, Fred.
Yes, and that reads, "Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the," how do you say this? "monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee."
Yeah, which they cannot do, of course. Because people rely on other people to say them how to be saved, or people rely on other people to say to prophesy things because they think they can read the stars and the signs of the heaven. Okay. And this is the explanation here. This is the information where the Hebrew root comes from. So the astrologers means the primitive root to be a horoscopist, the astrologer. Logic means logic. Yeah, Hebrews 1895. And then at the same time, Hebrews 1864 comes from a root meaning to be lofty, the sky, as well as the higher ether where the celestial bodies revolve. Astrologer looking up to heaven. Okay? But that's not all. We got also the monthly stargazers. This means to have a vision of, a prophecy. And I don't know if we are not already in religion. I think that now we are. And also, this is incorrect here. This is Isaiah 47:30. Let's put it up here.
Yeah, I was just looking up Isaiah 47 myself to just kind of get informed with exactly what this chapter is saying here too. It's interesting.
Yeah, a prince. Yeah, figurative, a prince, a star, a prince, a star. Yeah, so that these are the people who are trying to prophesize the future with the help of the stars. Yeah, the monthly prognosticators. There it is, age 30, 45. Yeah, so the people have knowledge to make oneself known, to be learned. Yeah. Also to perceive, prognosticator, to regard, skillful, etc., etc. The people who have understanding. All the people are the so-called experts.
Isaiah is a very, very interesting book to really sit down and study because it has so much to do with old Jerusalem and their troubles coming. And we can look back on that in the New Covenant now and see this pattern repeating itself. So yes, we have Babylon has fallen. It's twice.
It's backing it up. Yeah.
Yes, it's backing it up, and it's also telling us that we have a future Babylon, or a present Babylon, actually, that was future at the time it was prophesied. You see, so God is telling us the future in advance when we give Him space to do it, and He'll show us through the Comforter in John chapter 14.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting, Michael.
Yeah, and in Daniel, you see the famous thing when Daniel was what's we say, God's prophet in the Old Testament, one of the most prolific prophets in the Old Testament.
Yeah, God's faithful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it is very interesting to read the verses 18, 19, and 20, Brett, please.
Okay. Now at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar, and the king communed. I'm sorry, what verses again?
Yeah, so you're absolutely correct.
No, well, the numbers kind of throw me off here. But yeah, and the king communed with them, and along them all was found none like Daniel. Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah therefore stood before the king, and in all all matters of wisdom and understanding that the king inquired of them, he found 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just can't read very well with all the numbers in the way.
Okay, yeah, but
it's okay.
I need the numbers, you see.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
So you can
I
look
need the numbers. So if it is astrologers, they really mean astrologers. If they are talking about magicians, they really mean a magician. Yeah. And a magician, we know that it is not here Hebrew, but it relates also to the Persian word of magi, which was a Zoroastrian priest. So a magician means somebody who is summoning something, somebody who's making sorcery. Yeah?
Oh, and we know the priesthood is no good because Jesus declared that we are all brethren. Therefore, we should heed His command and recognize that. Also, it says in Isaiah 47 that Michael had mentioned earlier that it's the humiliation of Babylon. That's the title that Esword is giving this at the top of the chapter, which I find very interesting too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought I had it here in the chronological order, but I don't. But nevertheless.
Oh, no problem. Yeah,
I think we see by the Bible verse alone that these people had the real knowledge. These were the people who were following
10 times better.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and so
in other words,
it is all about visions. That it is about the dream of the king Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah.
During his reign, when the Israelites were in captivity in Babylon, and Daniel and his friends were there and have been asked because all the other counselors of the king, so to speak, they were unable to fulfill his wish to talk about the real meaning of his dream. And that's what Daniel's second chapter is about. Yeah. So you see that here, then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans explicitly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. For to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. But you see that, yeah, we can skip chapters and the entire story, because I think that many of you listeners are aware of the fact what is actually been depicted in Daniel. And in Daniel 4:7, then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them. This is from the perspective of the king. But they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. So it is a futile science, so called, as Paul would speak to Timothy. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when it depends, you get nothing out of it. And in Daniel chapter 5, the king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, mind you, if I do it in green so that people really see that this is not wrong, but this is highly debatable, because these are the so-called wise men. I make it in blue, okay? Highlighted in blue. Whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet. I would not be keen to be clothed in scarlet. You see, that is also a synonym for a apostate church. Huh? And have a chain. And have a chain of gold about his neck, also the servant of the golden calf, huh? And shall be the third ruler in the kingdom.
Yeah, Daniel didn't show any interest at all in accepting his gift, did he?
Yeah, and that's why I made the shortcut here and just put out the verses where astrologers are, so that you see the essence of it. The king spoke. There is a man in thy kingdom, or somebody spoke. I cannot.
Oh, it was the queen that's.
It was the queen. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it was the queen that stood up, and she came into the what was it, the den, or not the den, but yeah. Anyway, Michael, go ahead.
Okay. So she said, or somebody said, there is a man in thy kingdom, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods.
Yeah. Right.
And in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him. So, of course, he or she is speaking about the plural because of her pagan religion, I think. Was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, the king, I say, thy father made masters of the magician, astrologers, Chaldeans as soothsayers. So they are speaking about, Daniel, of course.
Of course.
And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me for the interpretation thereof. But they could not shew the interpretation of the thing, as we already knew before. Yeah. So the interpretation of it. Once again, Chaldee means astrologer. Okay, and that people nowadays really have a hard time to look upon etymology is absolutely understanding to me. For example, a simple word like AstraZeneca, Astra means a star, and Neka means death. So whatever CE means, it seems not to be very positive, doesn't it? You don't have to believe me. You can check it out on your own. Yeah, try Google Translator, or I'm using, of course, the German version, and I say, okay, that Astra, yeah, Latin, yeah,
yes,
okay. Right. Then we go not in German, but we go in English. Okay.
Yep.
So
there you go.
How hard can it be?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, Neka is very complicated because I think that is an imperative, so that to kill as an order. Yeah, I cannot do it at the moment because it takes a lot amount of time to go into that. But you see that I just put up the explanation here, or this is a screenshot actually. Yeah, if you don't have to trust me, you can do it on your own. Okay. Okay, so this is real time. This is real time. It says it's Romanian, okay, but because he is mixed up, he has a problem with the se Neka. But you see that Neka means kill and stars Astra means stars. I think that's out of the question. Check it out. What we are doing here is half Bible study, half science study, and the thinking about.
Yeah, and to tie into that, Michael, Hector and I were doing a study on, the seventh vial, and we were speaking of the Latin title of the man of sin being the being the mark of the beast, actually. So, it all makes sense, but, question is, can we accept that? Because, this isn't something that we came up with, Michael. This is history. This is in the record. We're just unfamiliar with it, Michael.
Problem is simply that people are scared of the truth. Yeah.
Well, they shouldn't be. They should be bold enough to just go through with the study and finish it. And then they can be clear about it. That's how I feel. But, maybe I'm the rare exception, Michael.
Yeah, people follow the rules of the fact checkers. Yeah, it has nothing to do with in Polish it means that. Necare means killing in Latin. Yeah, you see here
There you go. Necare with the re. See, that was missing, right?
Yeah.
It was NECA without re. So
could also be a abbreviation. You see, you don't know.
True. See,
but what you know is that Astra means stars.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, you see that you can go follow any path, but you should be very, very, very. Astra has its roots in the Greek astron, meaning star. Yeah. I find it very interesting to go into the etymology of the origin of words. Actually, they say that Seneca is an invented name, created to find a name which begins with a letter from the top or the bottom of the alphabet. I was just getting out the fact that you can do anything, and you will always see that it has something to do with stars, and so there I would be very careful. Yeah, I would be very careful what actually the meaning is. You see that we won't get the truth in this world. Yeah, we have to find it out and study for ourselves.
Well, isn't that true? And you find a lot of problems with the way things have been established, perhaps in the the different structures in your life. Like, for instance, the name your parents chose to give you. That can be really big trouble in some instances because they can be pagan names. They can have occult meanings, on and on and on, just like what we looked at right now could be a Latin term. It's not very comforting when you find out your name has a Latin meaning and it has to do with the Antichrist, is it? That's not too comforting.
Yeah.
But it's just a name.
So we're going back to the astrology, which has been spoken about in a negative context in the Bible. I think we can all agree about that. So Babylonian astrology was the first known organized system of astrology arising in the second millennium before Christ. That old it is. Yeah. Astrology takes its place at one of the two chief means at the disposal of the priests, who were called bear or inspectors. This is Wikipedia. Yeah, this is not that I'm making something up. So the priests who were called bear or inspectors for ascertaining the will and the intention of the gods. There you got it.
The pantheon. Here we are.
Yeah, the other being through the inspection of the livers of sacrificed animals. See omen. Huh? Yeah. So there are speculation that astrology of some form appeared in the Sumerian period on the third millennium before Christ, etc., etc., etc. I don't want to go into that kind of subject now. There is debate every year and now and then, but you see that it has been explicitly told that it takes place of one of the two chief means at the disposal of the priest. Yeah. For ascertaining the will and intention of the gods. Bang. There you got it. So that's why I come up with planets and gods. Yeah? The patron god of Babylon was Marduk, and this god was recognized in the Babylonian astrology as the planet Jupiter. So you could exchange the names, but it is the same heavenly, quote-unquote, body. Marduk was recognized as the most powerful god, not the one and only god. The Babylonians were polytheistic, as we have seen before in the chapter of Daniel.
Monotheistic, correct.
Yeah. Believing in many gods with different purposes, and they associated certain gods to certain planets. You see that they don't differ from the Greek in that regard.
Roman.
Or from Roman, no.
Yeah, they're all the same.
Yeah, you see here you got Jupiter, and on the right side, but people think it is about
Peter,
Saint Peter,
the chair of Peter. Yeah.
Yeah, it is according to the book of, what was it, Alexander Hislop?
Mm-hmm.
The two
The
Babylons.
two Babylons.
Yeah, it is. It is actually Jupiter because they have just transported it from the Pantheon to Saint Peter Cathedral. I think it is.
Correct.
Yeah. So it is the same. It is also Jupiter as well as the Saint Peter of the Roman Catholic Church. And you see the halo around it, and it is a circle, and the halo just means sun worshipping. The halo means that the head is more light, more brighter.
And from the front, telling from the front of it, it's an 8-rayed, double cross.
Yeah.
No surprise.
Yeah, and he holds a key. Yeah. And he has the salute to the V sign salute, or the 666
Papal
salute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the first two fingers is for the parents, so for the sun god and the mother goddess, and the thumb below that is for the child.
Ah, I see. Is
Yeah?
it 2 fingers or 3 there though? Is the thumb joining the other finger?
I cannot see from that perspective, but I just told you the explanation of James Arabito.
Oh, interesting.
If I remember correctly. Also for the halo, once again, you see that if it is a halo, all the Roman Catholic saints are being depicted most of the times with halos. You see that if you have a sun disk above your head, you are brighter than other people. Then you can see that how maybe it's the origin of the saying that someone is very bright when he's very smart. It could be. It's just my assumption. You see that I'm not speaking that is the truth. Yeah, that just plops up in my mind that it could be that it means that somebody is under a special light or enlightened. Yeah, and if you got a sun disk above your head, then you are enlightened. Yeah, something like that. Maybe you can agree or disagree. So the Babylonians used horoscopic astrology. Yeah, sure. The parallels between horoscopes and nativity omens from a Seleucid tablet shows the benefic and malefic natures of the planets in Babylonian astrology. Yeah, yeah. You got certain sources. This is all coming just from a Wikipedia article. Yeah? And here you see that they divided the fixed stars into 3 groups. Yeah, there you got it once again. Yeah. Of the planets, 5 were recognized: Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Mercury, and Mars, to name them in the order in which they appear on the older cuneiform literature. And you could also retranslate them now in the Babylonian tale or in the Greek tale. The 5 planets were identified with the gods of Babylon pantheon as follows: Jupiter with Marduk. And you could also write in Greek Zeus. It's a godhead. Yeah. Venus with the goddess Ishtar. You could also in Greek you could also write Aphrodite. Yeah. Saturn with Ninocha. You could also say in Greek Kronos. Mercury with Nabu in Babylonia. You could also say in Greek Hermes. Yeah. And Mars with Nergal in the Babylonian system, and in Greek it would be, if I remember correctly, Aries. I would have to look it up. It is sometimes my system is overloaded, but yeah, the movements of the sun, moon, and 5 planets were regarded as representing the activity of the 5 gods in question. Okay, so planets are gods, stars are demigods, or what to say? Yeah, servants of gods, angels. Yeah. Together with the moon goddess Sin, Seladi, it's interesting. Sin, huh? Interesting title here. And the sun god Shamash in preparing the occurrences on earth. If therefore one could correctly read and interpret the activity of these powers, one knew what the gods were aiming to bring about. Okay? This is a detail of the Ishtar Gate in Babylon, now depicted in Berlin as well. The Babylonian priests accordingly applied themselves to the task of perfecting a system of interpretation of the phenomena to be observed in the heavens, and it was natural that the system was extended from the moon, sun, and 5 planets to the more prominent and recognizable fixed stars. Let's sum it up. 1, 2, 7. Yeah, 1, 2, and 5 is 7. Okay. That's also the reason why you got the names of your week.
Yes,
Yeah?
exactly, Michael.
Monday is the moon.
Moon Day.
Yeah. Tuesday must be. Oh, I have to look it up. I just mixing it up. I know that Wednesday is Mercury.
Yes.
Yeah, that I know that. Thursday, let's see. Thursday, yeah, is Jupiter.
Mm.
Friday, I think it is Friday is Venus, and Tuesday is Mars. We will look it up.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
Yeah. So Saturday is very simple.
Saturn.
Yeah. Yeah. And they rob you of your Sabbath. No, they say that now Saturday belongs to Saturn. Yeah, and Saturn is
Yeah, if you're a cult, that's what you're gonna say.
Yeah, and so that is actually it is Sabbath. Yeah, and they call it the day of Saturn. Yeah, instead. Yeah, and Sunday is sure the sun, and there you got your 7 days.
Yeah. It's
So
Roman.
it's Roman. We're living in a Roman system.
That's the words of the Roman beast. We got to remember that, not God. Unless you want to worship Rome as a god, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, you should write it correctly too.
Mm-hmm.
What's the meaning of Tuesday? Tuesday,
yes.
the German god. Theo was the Germanic god of sky and war. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who was
Mars.
Tuesday was Dies Martis Mars Day, so that is correct. Okay, so that is the real reason why your days are named according to a Roman god and goddesses.
Yes.
Yeah, and why we are robbed of the Sabbath. Actually, it has to be Sabbath day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also astral medicine, but we do not go into that. Yeah? We do not go into that, I can promise you. Yeah? So I would like to limit it to the very necessary for the understanding. Yeah? I just want to explicitly tell that everything is connected to the Roman system, and also our so-called solar system is connected to the Roman system. Our week system our days are connected. Everything is connected to that. Yeah. You see that it just don't differ if you see it in the old times or here in the medieval times. Yeah. You see, what does the Bible say about snakes? People think that, as we have all know, that for example, Rolling Stone said that their symbol of the Rolling Stone band, yeah, tongue, is from the goddess Kali, yeah, which is a pagan goddess, yeah, for destruction, yeah. Now that's the origin. Yeah, the story of the famous. Yeah, okay. Then what in that context means the tongue out of Albert Einstein? You can make up your mind. So this is a correct horoscope. Yeah, it's about Albert Einstein. Yeah, it's about him. Yeah, these were the positions of the planets seen from the Earth in their respective houses. So in the sections you see here from 1 to 12. At the time of his birth, which occurred on the 14th of March, 1879 at 11:30 a.m. Okay? So that was the sight from the Earth to the sky. So you see there is Mars in the 7th house, Jupiter in 9, the Sun, Mercury, Saturn and Venus in 10. We calculate the last 1/6 to the next house, so Venus would be in 11, etc., etc., etc. So you got here rectangulars, 90 degrees, which are problematic. You got harmonical aspects of 120 degrees. 360 divided by 3 are trigons. Yeah, trigonal. Yeah, these are harmonic, and you see this is a whole science, so-called. Okay. Okay. So just that you see how a complete horoscope looks like. Yeah, I have wasted my time more than 10 years on that. Just want to know that nowadays people are also looking about these horoscopes in newspapers, but there's nothing to do with the real astrology they did in the Bible, because you see that here it comes now, and therefore we think we can make 10 or 15 minutes into that with a little bit of a bomb maybe, so that you know why we are talking about astrologers and why we are talking about Daniel so extensively. This is an excerpt of Daniel chapter 2. May you see that it has something to do with Nebuchadnezzar, is his dreams to be declared to the king himself. Okay, and the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans. So everybody who in the sight or in the view of the king had some kind of profound knowledge, or let's say science. So these were the scientists of the day, Brad. The magicians, the astrologers, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans. These were the scientists of the old. So nobody could ever interpret the dream. You ought to read it from verse 9 so that the people know in context what we are talking about.
Okay. Yeah. So Daniel chapter 2, is it? Yes, verse 9.
Yes.
But if ye will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you, for ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me, till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall show me the interpretation thereof. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, ruler that asks such things, magician or astrologer or Chaldean. And it is rare that the king requireth, and those is none other than can show it before the king, except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. For this cause the king was angry and very furious. Gee, I wonder why, Michael. Look what they just said. Incredible. And commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain. And they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? And then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning the secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He remembereth or he removeth kings and setteth up kings. He this really throws me. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and light dwelleth in him. I thank thee and praise thee, O God of my fathers, who hast given me wisdom and might, and hast made known unto me now what we desired of thee. for thou hast now made known unto the kings the matter.
Mhm.
Therefore, oh, did you want to say something, Michael?
Yeah, I think we can make a shortcut here that we really see that all these so-called wise men could not help the king in interpreting and explaining the dream, but Daniel could, because God has given him wisdom. He became it in a night vision, and we all know that Daniel then asked to not to slay the so-called wise men, the astrologians, the magicians, the soothsayers, Chaldeans, etc. So, and he was being gifted because of that. And he told the king that for the God of heaven had given thee a kingdom, power, and strength and glory. And he said that, this kingdom will fall, actually. That his kingdom will fall. And he told him about a big stature of gold and brass and silver and brass. We all know that, and I will show it to you in a second. And he was given wisdom by the Almighty God. So things that the astrologers, etc., could not do. Okay? And I don't know if it would extend the session if we would read the entire chapter Daniel 2. I think that's too much. But
Right.
I think that
and everyone can study and read the book
yes,
for themselves. It's just that you have to put time aside, and I would highly recommend everyone notice the Sabbath, because in Exodus chapter 20, God blesses the Sabbath. And that is the time historically known when people would meet to study and to converse about the Bible, and then also whatever else, seeking counsel on a Sabbath, especially to study God's Word and things related to that is primary, I think, Michael.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he saw the big statue consisting of 4 kingdoms in total. And then also he saw a stone that was cut out of the mountain without hands. So divine intervention. So not something that was made up by man, but was cut out of the mountain without hands. So a divine intervention. And that stone break the pieces and everything together. It destroyed it completely and erected the kingdom of God on the earth. So sum it up, okay? And so we have also an image of that. You see here the golden head represents the kingdom of Babylon. The silver chest represents please correct me, Brad, if I'm wrong, just saying it from memory. The silver chest and arms representing the kingdom of Persia, of Medo-Persia, actually.
Correct.
So the brass representing the kingdom of Greece, so Alexander the Great, etc. And then the thighs and the feet were mingled with iron and clay. And it is the last kingdom, which also was which is the representative of Rome. So when Jesus Christ walked down on the earth, the kingdom already in the last days, he meant that was in the days of the last kingdom on earth, which is the Roman kingdom, which rules all over the nation. And so it was being mingled together with iron and clay because it consists of several countries, and in the last days of all countries, because we know at the revelation of Jesus Christ to John that the kingdom was all the kings of the world fornicated with the whore of Babylon. And so out of a sudden, a stone cut out of the mountains without hands, which is this one here on this image here, destroyed the entire kingdom and all other kingdoms, and erected or established the kingdom of God. Are you okay with that interpretation, Brett?
Yeah, that is the prophetic vision that was given to Daniel, because he really diligently seeked after the Lord for the revelation, and he got the revelation, and he gave glory back to the Lord. And that's all in Scripture. We can all study this. And very, very important. This is the beast, and this is what the beast is speaking of. It's actually the tyrannical government that rules the people outside of the realm of a righteous form of government, Michael, which is also possible for our kings to observe. See? And a very, very profound when a president or ruler or any of them witness the power of God in Scripture, which is extraordinarily rare, actually. Most of them claim to, but don't. Obviously do not. And they even admit it on camera, like President Trump did, you know?
Yeah, here in Revelation chapter 17, 1 and 2, you see that the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth had committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Yeah, wine means apostate doctrine.
That's right.
So that is very interesting because I don't know if it is if people are familiar with that teaching or with that prophecy or with that image, but for me it is very likely that it just can only be one solution on that. Yeah, you see that the script I made half a year ago. So you see the head of gold, king of Babylon, Medo-Persians, ancient Greece, kingdom of ancient Rome, kingdom of restored Rome. But the crushing rock is the kingdom of God. You know, Daniel 2, the figure of a man, or the ruler, or the king. And actually, the king was dreaming himself, or the king was dreaming that his kingdom will not last. Yeah? So, I know there are many, many, many explanations of that, yeah, of the Daniel 2 chapter. Yeah, I know that many people have talked about very intelligent stuff, and that Daniel was only being able to do so by the help of the Lord who gave him the vision. Yeah, the secret was revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Yeah, then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Okay, now that's my interpretation. When we think that the legs and the feet of the figure here, yeah, is the Rome kingdom. Which country is Rome located?
It even looks like a leg. The country even looks like a leg with a foot on it, doesn't it, Michael? They call it the boot.
How obvious it must be.
Bravo, Michael. Bravo. Ah, and look, even the island near the foot looks like a rock. The way you have it looks even like a white rock.
That's what I don't get, why people get it only into the interpretation of things but don't see the obvious things. You have to make it very simple. Jesus Christ spoke to the people, to the average people, to the John Does of his time. In the Sermon of the Mount, he spoke to them in a real simple language. And that's Italy on a map. And then you see it has even the form of the boot. And I have learned it as...
It looks like Rome is right on the knee. Isn't
it? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and now you see the city or the island of Sicily. Yeah, doesn't it look like a stone? I know that Sardinia also comes into place. It's here also a kind of it's an island belonging to Italy actually, and you have the island of Corsica. That is where Napoleon Bonaparte came from.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
that's right.
So. But here you got Sicily, which looks like like the boot is kicking a rock. Yeah, so it's very close here. It is very, very close. Yeah, we can for the fun of it, we can ask Mr. Google just to open a map Yeah, and just to show us how close it actually is. So this is Mr. Google telling us this is Sicily. Yeah, look how close it is.
Ooh.
Look at that. Yeah.
How many miles is that, or kilometers? Like,
that gap here between this and that is 3 miles. So it is maybe about 2 miles maximum. Yeah, you can see the other side. Yeah, you can see it actually.
wow.
Yeah, and you see, when you read many books, yeah, you much often you don't see the obvious, and I just have something more, and this is him. This is the Abbey of Thelema. Yeah, these are the wonders for the next episode, the wonders of Sicily, Cephalo Alistair Crowley Abbey, and where it is in Cephalo. There he made all his satanic rituals, etc. Yeah, he took place in Cephalo in Sicily. What a coincidence, huh? Out of so many countries around the world, he chose Sicily, Cephalo. There is where Alistair Crowley also made rituals. And if you now think that they are all some kind of coincidences, well, I don't think so. I know what is the original explanation why he went to Sicily, and I like to talk about that in the next session, that you see that everything is connected.
Oh, it looks like a high place there, Michael.
Yeah, in the background, yeah.
Yeah, looks like a high place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how interesting.
Mm-hmm.
How interesting.
Yeah, but that we save for the next time, I think, because I think that this session also was very, very long. But yeah, I can show you another thing which I came across, and sometimes it looks very ridiculous to go into that. But
Oh no, go ahead.
maybe it works. You see that this
really
is live. This is live at the moment. Yeah, we are not. I not have prepared anything. Yeah, this is just Argentina, this is Chile, this is the Antarctica, okay? So this is the part of the South Pacific, South Atlantic, yeah? Okay, let's zoom nearby. I don't know if I have to look at here, okay. You see that? Yeah, here you just don't see anything because of the clouds, okay? So if Google Maps is correct, which I don't know, yeah, everything can be manipulated these days. We zoom in a little bit further, okay? So now you don't see anything, maybe.
You can't see it because of the cloud cover, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't that look like an image of a dragon?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can adjust it here. Yeah. Google
Serpent,
Maps.
yeah.
Google Maps won't let me. Yeah. I got a better image of that. Maybe I can. I don't know if I've inserted it already. I don't think so. But if you really in the old times last year, if you would do that, you see a dragon with his wings left and right here. Yeah, between Chile and Antarctica. This is, of course, not a dragon, but seen as a higher place, so kind of underwater mountain range or something like that, so that they tell you that this is very deep water, this is more shallow water. Yeah, these are the clouds, this is dry land. You see, they have several colors for several depths. Yeah, to indicate for an indication. And as in Revelation chapter 12, actually, it's been told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was cast, the devil, yeah, the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Yeah, and what's that? Yeah, that for me that looks like a dragon. I know that sounds far-fetched or maybe too stretched for your imagination, but I know what I've seen years before, and I'm sure that I got the image, and I will show it if I have found it, I will show it here.
It won't allow us to see.
Obscured by clouds, as one album of Pink Floyd has been named. Obscured by clouds. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. You can do that too, Michael. That
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
doesn't give us the big picture that that Michael had shown us earlier.
Yeah. Better than nothing, huh?
Better than nothing.
Better than nothing. But I'm quite sure that I got it.
It does work. So yeah, it's just a matter of looking at it without any cloud cover.
I don't know. I don't know actually where it is, but I know that I got it, and I know that it was very, very obvious that it is what it is, or what it was actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I will find that.
I remember that, Michael, when you showed that to me. That was some years back.
Yeah. And so that I wanted to use that occasion that I was just sure that I could find it, but nevertheless, you see that you can use your own imagination or your own Google what else. But I'm not making anything up. It's the same as it is in the script with Italy. You see, it's so obvious that the last kingdom is Italy and not anything else that people want to sell you. The last kingdom is Italy. All roads lead to Rome, as one guy likes to say, and the teaching is that Rome is the last kingdom.
You see, yeah, that's an old saying, all roads lead to Rome. Very old saying. Also, the other saying is Rome wasn't built in a day. And I like to say, well, we can't dismantle Rome in a day either. So you have to be patient, and patience is hard sometimes with these things.
Hmm? Yeah, there's also Club of Rome, which is very influential these days. Yeah, and the Club of Rome also says that growth is limited, and so that there are too many people, and that we face really big problems in the future. I don't find, of course, I don't find the picture what I was looking for. I know I have used it in the James Dean sessions. But now that I'm losing my voice, I think that we have to close down the session, Brett. I hope it was a little bit of informative and of useful, that you really see that everything is connected, and that Italy, or especially Rome or Roma, is the epicenter of it. And Rome has been called the eternal city. And what has been written in the Bible, in Revelation 21. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. So what about the eternal city?
Good point, Michael. It's only eternal to those who want to see the flesh, and it's vain and profane imaginations, Michael, to the nth degree. That's all we see, because we're at the end of this long journey that all of us are on, actually. But it's not the end till Christ comes back, is it? So we might have to wait quite a while yet, actually. So, yeah.
And on that bombshell, I would like to end the session.
Sounds great, Michael. Thanks for your help in helping us, take a look at all of these principles on a different plateau. I'd like to think of it as God's plateau, being, the fundamental principles of the Bible, and applying them to modern day issues such as the The last year that we've endured was very strange in a lot of ways, and a lot of claims have been made by the adversary. And yeah, in the world, we see very troubled problems coming to the forefront. And a lot of us are kind of up with our hands in the air. And but those of us that know our scriptures are seeing that we are seeing the fulfillment of God's prophecies while this entire episode is playing out before our very eyes and ears. So we need to be attentive to the Word of God first and foremost, because He, our Father in heaven, through the Son Jesus Christ, will reveal the truth to us when we are patient and endure in His commandments and obey His word. Then He is sure to set us in the right place so that we can see exactly where God has placed us today. And that's the most important thing, actually, to bring the glory back to God, because this isn't from us. This is from God. This is a gift from God that God gives freely to those who seek after it and diligently seek after it, actually. You don't just seek after it, because you can't be a double-minded. It says in the Bible that we should not be double-minded. So we need to really work with this clay, that we need to bring it back to the potter, right? So that's Jesus, and his Messiah will set us straight. So I want to thank Michael for bringing this message to us today, and we'll look forward to continuing next time on the script. And yeah, Michael, that was fabulous to be reminded of the book of Daniel and the prophetic message that was given in the old covenant to the Jewish people. And we being Jews in the spirit today, not in the flesh, it is comforting to know in advance what's in store. It's just that, Michael, when you see this happening right before your eyes, you can't help but wonder, where is it all leading to, and how is it going to lead there? Because our flesh will never, what can we say, prevail. We have to prevail in God's spirit, in His truth. So that's what we wish to do, and we wish to see you next time. God bless, and Maranatha.